This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Debate has erupted over the strength of Tasmania's gun laws. Following revelations, legislation will be weakened under the Liberal Party. On the eve of the election, the significant policy was made public, allowing greater access to some firearms, including pump-action shotguns. The Premier says the policy will assist local farmers, but it's been met with a wave of backlash.
What should be a day to promote the party message,
great team effort, well done.
The Premier has been forced to defend a significant policy. Plans to weaken the state's gun laws were today released publicly, weeks after Minister Reen Hidding wrote to stakeholders.
It was released to stakeholders around 3 weeks ago, so any suggestion it has just materialised today is patently untrue.
No public statement, nothing before the election, and the only reason Tasmanians know is because a concerned firearm owner rang the Greens.
Under the policy, licences would be extended from 5 years to 10 for some firearms, Category C licences extended from 1 to 2 years. Breaches to storage laws would be reduced to an infringement. Category C firearms, including self-loading rifles and pump-action shotguns, would be more accessible for farmers, including silencers for pest control, with a new category for prohibited firearms.
What they're doing is making implements a lot better to be used, and like I said, browsing animal control and for sport, and the storage requirements obviously would be increased.
It's going to see larger numbers of rapid fire rifles and shotguns in the hands of the community and stored in homes.
Tasmania led the charge for gun reform following the worst massacre in Australia's history. A foundation established by a family affected by the Port Arthur shooting disappointed there was no community consultation.
We don't advocate for the removal of guns. We advocate for the safe use of guns, which is represented by the National Firearms Agreement, and it's a community issue. It's about making sure there's no compromise on children and community safety.
Please, gun laws shouldn't be the subject of last-minute bargaining to chase a few votes. They're just too important to everyone.
Labor is considering changes to penalties for storage breaches, but denies it's a similar policy.
It is vastly different. We have made no decisions of the nature that the Liberal Party have, and we wouldn't do that on the eve of an election.
We have been endeavouring to debate, to promote, to discuss our policy agenda with Tasmanians.
A debate that will have to wait until after the election. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
And with just hours now before Tasmanians head to the polls, both major political parties have made their final pitch to the people. The Liberals again campaigning for majority government, while Labor turned its attention back to health.
One last home visit as the major parties return to their grassroots.
It's having conversations with people just like Vicky that's convinced me that health is the #1 issue for Tasmanians.
We're a government and will be one that continues to back Tasmanian businesses and protect jobs.
Bill Shorten flying in to give Labor's $560 million health pledge one final push.
Right now, the health system is failing Tasmanians. We can no longer take this. We have to make a stand, and that's why we need a change of government tomorrow.
The fact of the matter is, it is not fair that Vicky, or indeed any other Australian, has to choose between waiting lists in the public system or exorbitant healthcare costs with private health insurers.
Will Hodgman says the real choice tomorrow will be between a minority or majority government.
We are the only party that can deliver majority government. We have demonstrated that the Liberal Party and a majority Liberal government has the track record, but most importantly the plan for our state's future that will take Tasmania to the next level.
Those against the Liberals' policies uniting for a final rally.
Hooray to people power!
For the love of Tasmania, vote Green. It is so important to have the Tasmanian Greens in the Parliament, standing up for democracy, transparency, communities and the environment.
Predictions still have the Liberals tipped to win a slim majority, but Ms White remains confident and says it's not over until tomorrow.
We continue to build momentum and build the numbers of representatives in both parliaments, and I'm absolutely confident that tomorrow we can win because we've got the best candidates.
And while all the Blue Army candidates finished their campaign together, the Labor candidates were...
They're out door knocking. Our candidates are out on the field talking to as many people as they possibly can before everyone goes to the polls tomorrow.
The state has come a long way in the last 4 years under a majority Liberal government and a much more confident, prouder, stronger Tasmania. I ask Tasmanians, why would you want to change?
Tasmanians will get to answer that question tomorrow when polling booths open at 8 o'clock. Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
And on election night, Southern Cross will have live coverage from the tally room at 6 p.m. and the latest developments throughout the evening. We'll also reveal our exclusive Southern Cross News exit poll for the first indication of the election results. That's special coverage from 6 p.m. tomorrow. An electrical fault in a small fridge has been blamed for causing a shed at the Carrick Park Pacing Club to burst into flames early this morning. Firefighters and investigators remained at the racing facility for most of today, sorting through the ash. The incident was first reported soon after midnight, and it took firefighters around 3 hours to bring the blaze under control.
All we know is that it started inside the building. There was 44-gallon drums of petrol exploding and paint cans, oil cans, and yeah, they was exploding just inside the door shed, on the shed door there.
Machinery, chemicals and a specially converted Cadillac car were all destroyed. Damage has been estimated at $250,000. An outpouring of grief and support from around the world has seen more than $200,000 raised to assist a Tasmanian family. 3-year-old Albie Fox Davis of Wynyard died on Monday after he choked on a bouncy ball. He would have turned 4 next week. The family posted on social media today saying, "Words can't express the depths of our gratitude for the outpouring of love we have received since our worst nightmare. Your thoughts and prayers have uplifted us." Money raised through the GoFundMe page will assist Albie's parents, who have 2 other children and a 4th on the way. A multiple vehicle crash caused traffic chaos in Hobart's peak hour this morning. The crash occurred around 8 o'clock between Cleary's Gates and Burnett Street on the Brooker Highway. Traffic heading into the city was banked up for nearly 2 hours. 1 person was injured and treated by emergency services. Vulnerable Tasmanian children who are forced to live in emergency accommodation will now have a comfort package to support them through their traumatic experience. The Tasmania Police Trust and Family Law Practitioners Association today donating 130 support bags for children living in unstable lives. The buddy bags, designed by the Alana and Madeline Foundation, include items such as toiletries, pyjamas, underwear and a teddy bear. Well, he's one of Tasmania's most popular sporting figures, but today David Boone shifted the focus away from himself to help raise awareness for the state's homeless. And it was Australia's oldest golf course that played host.
He scored more than 7,000 runs for Australia, but these days Boone is more concerned with shaving shots off his golfing handicap.
I'm a bit of a golf tragic, according to my wife, but you know, I love the game, but I wouldn't say that I'm anything good at it, but just love it.
The former Test opener, today's special guest, as Bothwell's Ratho Farm hosted the first Common Ground Cup, raising money and awareness for Common Ground Tasmania.
Guys and ladies that have fallen on hard times, and you know, trying to help them out there and help them, obviously in the end, hopefully to get back in the workforce and back into some accommodation of their own.
The day proving a hit with the part-time hackers, with the course hoping to make it an annual event.
There's a bookie on one hole and you can bet on yourself to hit it on the green.
I'll put 20 on the green.
20. There's David around the homestead, all the tees and greens around the homestead. People can buy him to have an extra shot for their Ambrose group.
And although you're more likely to find a cup of tea than a beer in Boonie's hands these days, the question had to be asked.
How many cans of VB do you think you could sink in an 18-hole round of golf?
Well, I'm not going to answer that.
Tom Cooper, Southern Cross News.
It may feel like Christmas has only just wrapped up, but now Easter is just around the corner. Some excited children meeting the Bunny this morning to launch the Royal Hobart Hospital Research Foundation fundraiser. Families are invited to take part in the annual event where they can fill their baskets with chocolate eggs, all in the name of medical research.
It's a way to connect. We have everything from hopscotch and egg and spoon races, pin the tail on the bunny, and it really is a special family day.
The fundraiser will be held on the 30th of March and hopes to raise $25,000. The 2018 Sassafras Heritage Farming Weekend started this morning and, despite dreary weather, was soon in full swing. The festival, hosted by the Historic Machinery Club of Tasmania, demonstrates how life on the land once worked.
We've got about 250 school children coming through that we're taking them around the ground and giving them an insight into what farming life was like probably 80, 90, 100 years ago. So that is pretty exciting in itself.
It's not only considered a good day out for students, but those with an appreciation for history also happy to stroll the grounds. Among the impressive collection, a Howard platypus dozer built in England in the 1950s. The festival will finish up Sunday afternoon. An Australian Defence Force corporal who suffered severe post-traumatic stress disorder following an altercation on assignment overseas hopes to use his journey to inspire others. 9 months ago, Jared Kent was told he should be dead. Today, he's training for the 2018 Invictus Games and says anyone can turn their life around.
Corporal Kent makes throwing a 100-kilo Tyra round look easy, but the 34-year-old had to hit rock bottom to find his true passion. Whilst on an assignment overseas in 2014, he was faced with his worst nightmare.
I had to save my mate's life as well as fight for my own life, and in doing so, I received PTSD, depression, and obviously anxiety out of that.
Jared is open in saying he then turned to drugs and alcohol to cope, a move which nearly killed him.
I collapsed on the ground and I actually couldn't even talk. So I dragged myself into the hospital on base where they put me in isolation and run tests, and then found out that I was obviously just full of toxins and that I probably shouldn't be alive.
Several operations later and he almost lost his leg to a golden staph infection.
Oh, it was extremely hard, seeing that I couldn't do anything about it, that there was nothing I could do. I didn't even like going to work.
But the father of two will be the first to tell you hitting his lowest point was the catalyst for change. The now powerlifting champ shortlisted for the 2018 Invictus Games, with the Australian team to be officially announced in June.
It's a phenomenal feeling. Like I said, it was 287 days ago that I went dying, from dying on the ground to now having the opportunity to take my life to the next level and inspire others to do also.
And it's an achievement the whole family is celebrating.
No, I'm just so very proud. Very proud. Yeah.
Without Mum, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
As for meeting Prince Harry, that's something both mother and son are looking forward to.
Maybe get him a bit of a headlock or something, a bit of a wrap up. No, it'd be an honour. It'd be an honour to meet someone. It would be a privilege to meet Prince Harry.
The Invictus Games get underway in Sydney on October 20. Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
A Latrobe teenager is taking sibling love to another level, today embarking on a 280-kilometre bike ride to raise funds for Heart Kids, which saved his brother's life. Joe Johnston started in Devonport today, hoping to arrive in Hobart by Sunday morning. The ride is all in the name of his baby brother Kane, who was born with a rare heart disease, which left him fighting for life.
It's been pretty tough, long, hot, and tiring. So I think of Kane when I'm riding the bike and trying to get to the end.
Now, the 15-year-old hopes to raise $10,000 for Heart Kids to help other families. The family says Kane is alive because of the help they received from the organisation.
Doctors didn't give him much luck, chance, so yeah, it was pretty hard. Yeah. So.
If you would like to donate, visit the Everyday Hero page, Joe's Charity Ride for Heart Kids. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed lower after fears of a trade war were sparked by US President Donald Trump's surprise announcement of tariffs on imports of steel and aluminium. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 44.4 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77.6 US cents and 63.23 euro cents.
She's going from strength to strength in the pool, and last night Tasmanian teenager Ariane Titmus once again wowed the swimming world. Titmus qualifying for the 400 metre freestyle for April's Com Games, breaking her own national record along the way. If there was any doubt just what Titmus could be capable of in April, there isn't anymore.
Ariane Titmus, what a swim! She breaks her Australian record.
All my training times, I know what I'm going to race based off of them, so I don't really do any surprise swims, but I'm pretty happy with how I've gone so far.
Starting favourite in her pet event, the 17-year-old made her intentions known early.
Very quickly, the defending champion out by almost 3/4 of a body length.
Having already qualified for the 100 metres freestyle with a personal best time in Wednesday night's final, the Tasmanian never looked challenged over the longer distance.
And we are seeing the emergence of an outstanding 400 metre swimmer for Australia. She's already that.
My brother got these T-shirts made, which is pretty cool with the Terminator on them. It's pretty funny, but I got my cousins, my auntie and my brother wearing them, so that's really cool.
Titmus will now shift her focus to tonight's 800 metre freestyle final. Well, it's a massive coup for cycling in the state. Tasmania has been awarded a 3-year agreement to host the 2018, 19 and 20 Oceania Road Championships. It's the first time the state will host a UCI-sanctioned road cycling event, with around 200 of the best from the Oceania region expected to compete. This year's championships will be held from the 23rd to the 25th of this month, beginning with an individual time trial in Evandale, followed by 2 days of road racing in Railton.
Good evening, Hobart 23 degrees, Launceston and Cressy our high around the state with 24, Burnie 21 and Devonport 19 today. Temperatures just above average with a few showers over the northwest, none of any great note. Campania, Friendly Beaches, Grove and Bushy Park all 23, Wynyard, St Helens and Strawn 21 degrees, the Bass Strait Islands 20 and Lowhead 19. There is a band of cloud that's flowing from central Western Australia across to the northeast of Tasmania. We also have some high cloud swirling over North Queensland as low cloud is seen over the east coast of the nation. And over Tasmania, some cover for the north as the early cloud over the south cleared during the day. Tomorrow, a weakening cold front will cross the state in the afternoon as a high moves over the bight. Several troughs and low pressure systems continue over the mainland. Northwest and northeasterly winds increasing to 15 to 25 knots ahead of a westerly change in the evening. Swells at 2 metres in western and southern waters. Strong wind warnings on from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point. Now for tomorrow. Showers developing for Hobart, a top of 25 before the change, 23 for Medina and 24 for Oatlands. For Launceston, cloudy and 24 degrees, 22 the top for Devonport with a shower or two, shower developing over the mountains, Lyowini a top of 19. For Burnie, a shower or two and 21, 22 for Strawn, 21 for Marrawar with the showers moving in. And for the east, partly cloudy, St Helens 24, 25 for Swansea, a late shower over Orford with 25 the maximum as well. UV sitting in the very high range. On Sunday, showers over the west far south and developing over the east later. Cloudy on Monday with a possible shower over the west, and on Tuesday mostly fine but partly cloudy. Sunny and 30 in Perth, cloudy over Adelaide, a warm day in Melbourne ahead of a late cool change. Sunny conditions for Canberra and Sydney, a shower for Brisbane and a storm for Darwin. And conditions around the state mostly clear as we head into Friday night. Of course, Joe, tomorrow a very big day. I'll be out there tomorrow filling out the little form, but I do believe it will be an absolutely decisive win. Winx will win race number 24 tomorrow in Sydney.
Yes, I'm not sure that's what's on our mind, Murph, but thank you. And before we leave you, a reminder, voting is open tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. You can vote at any polling place across the state, even those outside your electorate. A list of venues is available on the Tasmanian Electoral Commission's website. And on election night, after voting closes, our special tally room coverage will begin at 6 o'clock, and we'll have updates right throughout the evening. And for the first indication of how Tasmania voted, we'll also reveal the results of our exclusive exit poll, and that's only on Southern Cross from 6 p.m. tomorrow. We look forward to your company then. Good night.